Good evening and Jai Hind. I hope I am properly audible and visible. Good evening. So I guess I am properly audible and visible to everyone. Good evening and welcome to the session. In the last session, we have started with this part of case studies. We have seen some case study in the first session. Like we have one discussion about the case study in one of the first session, and then I have given you some more questions on the case study to practice. Okay. And I think some of you have written good. Now, what I have been seeing is, what I have seen that in the recent past, like if we look at this, like first day and the second day, if we compare these two, there has been a lot of improvement in the way you have been answering. Some of you have been writing to the point. It has been quite good. There is still a little bit of deviation from the main point in some of the answer, but yes, overall there has been improvement. There has been improvement in this part, that now you are writing direct, straightforward according to the demand of question. Okay. So that is one good aspect. As usual, we will start first. We will see the question. We will try to understand that what is being asked in the question and how we have to approach that. So that is one thing which we have to do in this case. Okay. So let's see. Like we have got the first question here. I'm not going to read the entire question. You know that all of you have already read this question. It is about this railway stampede. Okay. And we have seen that this is one such thing. There are two parts of the question. First is, can the then Minister of Railways be considered solely responsible for the stampede? And then, suppose you are the general manager of zone under which this intra-city train system is operated. What steps you will take so that such accidents never happen again? So there are two parts of question, and it is a straightforward. So I think, like in this question you can easily answer it. In one of the copies, what I have seen is that the introduction has been written very much well. Okay. That you have written the introduction, that above case pertains to the issue of stampede. Okay. So you are giving that context of the question. Again, how we are going to start with this? First thing is, we are going to maintain this context part. Okay. The first thing is, we will give a context of the question in 2 or 3 lines. Okay. Now the question is, should we write the ethical consideration or ethical issues and stakeholders in this case? Okay. That are we going to mention about the stakeholders? Are we going to mention about the ethical issues in this case or not? Okay. Now, in general, like I have told you in this previous session also, that in general, many of the selected candidates have taken this approach that they try to mention about stakeholders and the ethical issues in most of the cases. Okay. Since this is an ethics related paper, so they try to follow this general format, that they mention the stakeholder. They mention this stakeholder and even the ethical values. Now, if you mention it, it is well and good. Even if you don't mention it, then also it's not a big problem. Or any challenge. Okay. There is one part although here. Since the first question is asking that can the railway minister be solely considered to be responsible? Can he be solely considered to be responsible for this stampede? So it means there are other peoples whom we are talking about. So even if you forget the second part, ethical values, you can mention about the stakeholders at least. You can at least mention about the stakeholder in this case. Because it is talking about, can the railway minister be the only person who can be called as responsible for this case? Okay. So in ethics, we generally follow a format where we mention the stakeholders and ethical values. So if you want, you can add it. Okay. But yes, in some of the copies, what I have seen is that when you are mentioning the stakeholders or ethical values, you are taking more than one page. Do not do that. Try to mention it in two parts of the copy. Try to mention it here, that who are the stakeholders, what are the ethical values. In any case, suppose if it is not the core demand, if it is not the core demand of your question, then try to mention this entire thing in half page. If it is not the core demand, see, remember one part, if it is not the core demand, mention them in half page, your work will be done. If it is a core demand, then you will have to evaluate them, that what are the stakeholders, the ethical values, considerations, all these things. But if it is not the core demand, just try to mention them in less than half of the page or half of the page, it will be fine. Okay. Then coming to the second part, in the question itself, you can get the idea, can the rail minister be solely responsible for the stampede? Of course, you know that since he is part of that ministry, he has certain responsibility, but he is not the only person who can be called as responsible for it. And then what you will do? You will also mention that who all other people are responsible for it. The general manager of that area, the police administration who are there, the public who is there, the parliamentarians who are there, the railway minister. Apart from railway minister, you can identify the other stakeholders also, that who all are responsible for this. Okay. That's why I am saying you that you can mention the stakeholders over here. That's why I was mentioning this, that you can mention the stakeholders over here. Okay. So this is the first part, that how you are going to approach the introduction. And the first part, can the rail minister be solely responsible? Again, you know that it is not true. They can fix the responsibility to all other persons, like the general manager of that area, the police and railway personnel who are there, the one who is in charge of movement between the areas. Okay. All these peoples can be made responsible. Even the parliament, how we can make the parliament responsible? We see that in our country, parliament is meeting for 60 days a year. If parliament would have been meeting for continuous long days, then this budget may have been approved at an earlier time, and this footbridge collapse could not have been there, or it could have been prevented. So even the parliament is there as a stakeholder. Parliament is also there as a stakeholder. So you can mention about all these stakeholders who all are responsible for this. Okay. So that is the first part. Now, what is the second part of the question? Second says that suppose you are the general manager of the zone, then what steps you will take? So see, when it is talking to you about that what steps you are going to take, you can generally divide it into two parts. What are the immediate steps which you are going to take, and what are the long-term measures which you are going to take in this case? Okay. So generally, if they are asking you what steps you are going to take, you can divide it into two parts. The immediate steps, there is a stampede. So first of all, you have to control the situation over there. Okay. Like stampede has already occurred, people have died. So now what? You are the general manager of that zone. So how you are going to manage each and everything? How you are going to manage each and every aspect? So there will be some immediate measures and there will be some long-term measures to avoid such future risk. Okay. These two things you have to divide, like what immediate measure can be taken and what long-term measures can be done. So these are the two aspects of the story which you have to provide. Now see, coming to this part, that how many points you will write, how many or what will be your exact point, that depends entirely on your wit. That depends entirely on you. Okay. It is your observation, it is your suggestion that what you are going to give there. There won't be one right answer or only one right answer. You can suggest anything and everything there. You have to make sure that you are putting it in line of the demand of the question or according to the situation which you have analyzed. Okay. So this is one part. I hope the first question was quite easy. It was direct, straightforward. So most of the people might have understood this question quite easily, that what we have to do, can he be solely responsible, and what steps you are going to take. So this was one of the simplest question. I think most of you have done this. Okay. Like some copies also, if we look at some of the copies, this is one copy from Sanjana. So she has given this. The case pertains to the issue of public hastiness and negligence of government. We have mentioned about stakeholders, public, political leaders, Ministry of Railways, General Manager, okay, compassion, welfareism, justice, accountability. So these are the values which are mentioned. So this has been done in half part. It is good. Okay. Then you have mentioned about this. Now see, in the first part, you have written in very long paragraph. You have written in very long paragraph. Here you don't have to give the context. Here you don't have to give the context that what happened before 2015 or anything like that. Just talk about the main demand of the question. You don't have to justify anything or any part. You have to simply answer, can he be solely responsible? Yes. What are the factors? What are the factors which says that he is not solely responsible? Okay. Or what is his actual responsibility? You can put it there. And if he is not responsible, who all others are responsible, you have to mention that. Okay. So this is one thing, like Sanjana, in this copy, you have the first portion has been written well, introduction and that context part. Then in the first part, you have mentioned about it. I have read your copy also. You have mentioned about it, but then you have made it too much like extensive. You have given a lot of background and everything. So that is not required. You can change that. Okay. Then to prevent following things, you have mentioned construction of new, making entry and exit points, better last mile connectivity, widening the areas. Okay. So this is one part. Then you have added the conclusion also. That is also fine. Okay. So second part has been discussed well. One thing which you can incorporate in the second part also is dividing it into short term and long term measure. So that is one part which you can do. And in the first question, you can make it like not use too much of paragraph. It becomes like the idea is not very much clear after reading long paragraph. So make it short paragraph and directly target the question. Okay. So that is one copy. There is also this copy. This is the question part. Cannot be considered solely responsible for the stampede while he okay. See, again the same thing, like you have written good. I think this copy is from you have not written your name, but I think the first part you have answered it. First thing is you have not given the context. So first part, mention some context. Even if you are not mentioning the stakeholders, since you have mentioned the stakeholders in this part, even if you are not mentioning it there, then also it is fine. Okay. Now do one thing. Don't make it an entire page essay. Don't make it an essay of entire page. Make small paragraphs. It's not necessary to write always point wise, but when you make an entire long page essay like thing, that idea is diluted there. Okay. So you have written good, like who will be responsible. You have identified multiple stakeholder also, but do it in a small paragraph manner. Okay. Then in the second part again, you have mentioned immediate action, emergency expansion, stakeholder engagement, technological integration, public awareness campaign, long-term planning. So second part of answer has been written quite well in this copy. You have mentioned, like just by reading this, this is what I am telling to everyone, that when you are writing something, if you are mentioning this, if you are making the good use of this part, from here itself it is clear that what you want to tell, So it is clear from this part itself that he is going to talk about long-term planning, public awareness campaign, technological integration, stakeholder engagement, emergency expansion, immediate action. So it is clear from this part itself that what you are trying to tell here. Okay. So second part of answer has been written well. The first part is where you can make it a small paragraph. Okay. Clear? Then moving to the third copy. Okay. This is from Sachin. The case study is about a man-made disaster created by collapse. Okay. Stakeholders, okay, with their families, local leaders, parliamentarians, fine. Railway staff, railway tech team, people in stampede, station master, me as a zonal minister, parliamentarians. Now see, there is one thing, Sachin. In the first part, the question is not directly addressing you. In the first part of the question, the question is not directly addressing you as the zonal manager. It is simply asking, can the railway minister be considered solely responsible for this or not? So in the first part, when you have written that me as a zonal manager is also having responsibility for this. So do not mix the two parts. In first part, they have not asked you that whether you are the zonal manager or not. So avoid using me as a zonal manager. Simply write zonal manager is also responsible for it. Okay. So that is one part which you can do. Second thing is, in this second part, in the first part itself, first try to address the core demand, that the responsibility of railway minister. So when you are writing the first stakeholder, do not simply write railway staff. Mention first as a railway minister and then write about railway staff and everyone else. Okay. So first main part is, who is the main party? The main party is railway minister as per the demand of the question. So first try to address him, and then you have written that conclusion where you have said that he cannot be only one responsible for this. There are other people also. Okay. So this is one part which you have to change in your answer. Okay. In the second part, being general manager, what I will do is survey of all older footbridge, raise demand for fund, raise circulars and guidelines, organize camp, coordinate with administrators. Okay. So this is one part which you have written, fine. Okay. Just do one thing, like wherever you have written the main points, try to underline this. Try to underline that. It will be good. Okay. So this part is also fine, Sachin. Okay. There is another copy. It is from Mayank. Mayank. Where are you, Mayank? Where are you, Mayank? I think you are there in the class. Mayank, are you there in the class or not? Namaste, Ayush. So tell me, Mayank, about this one thing. Why are you so much keen on saving the paper? I know we have to save environment, but why you are so much keen on saving the paper and writing the entire 250 words in just one page? Why are you writing this in just one page? Expand it a little bit. You are writing everything, but why you are doing this entire thing in just one page? You can expand it a little bit. Okay. So see, you have mentioned this. Poor infrastructure of railway is one of major concern. You have mentioned the introduction. That is fine. Okay. Then second part is stakeholder. You have mentioned about a stakeholder also. That is also good. Okay. Then second part, who is responsible for stampede? Okay. You have mentioned that we cannot hold railway minister as solely responsible. There are other factors. So you have written all the points, that man-made man-made intentional disasters, not a usual accident, local leaders, then delay in budget allocation, huge population pressure, maintenance and monitoring, security system. Okay. So you have mentioned all these like points that what else is also responsible. It cannot be only the sole responsibility of railway minister. Okay, but yes, like just to give you an example, you might all have heard, like just for one example of leadership, you all might have heard this story that when we were having the beginning of space programs in India, and at that time we were trying to launch various satellites and everything. So in the beginning, when the mission failed, Vikram Sarabhai, who was there as the leader here, so when the mission failed, he took the responsibility of it. And when the mission was successful, he gave the opportunity to his junior friends, to his associates, that you should go and take the leadership here, or you should go and assume the responsibility here, or you should get the celebration here. Okay. So that is also a leadership, that when there is a failure of team, the leader will come forward and he will say that, okay, I am responsible for this. But when there is when there is any such praiseworthy thing, or when there is any achievement, he will put forward his associates, his fellow members, his junior members. So that is one such example of leadership. Okay. So while you are writing this answer, you can say that since railway minister is the leader of railway in India, so if each and everything or anything is happening with respect to railway, of course he will be considered as responsible. He cannot be considered as the one person who is solely responsible for it, but he also bears a significant portion of responsibility for that. Okay. So that is one thing which you can mention here. Okay. Then my steps to prevent such accidents: monitoring and screening, identifying such bridge, arrange meeting, start repairing all weak infrastructure, prepare a monitoring chart and schedule. Railway is one of the most, or say only one choice for. Now this conclusion is somewhat longer one. Okay, in comparison to your answer, this conclusion is somewhat longer, so you can make it brief. You can expand these points. You can expand these points, make it like a proper answer. Okay, so in the last class also, I have seen that you have tried to compress the fonts and everything. So expand it a little bit. Write in the same manner as you would write in the examination. In the examination, do not try to finish it within one page. Expand it a little bit. Okay. Then, Harsh, the above case is about government financing versus public safety. Okay, you have mentioned the ethical issues and stakeholders. Since this matter has already been raised by parliamentarians, the overall government holds the responsibility of this incident. Okay. Media is also responsible. Harsh, on the first part, you can expand a little bit more. You can give this responsibility or distribute this responsibility among many other people also, like the general manager over here, the administration over there, the railway protection force over there, the public also. The public also is responsible for this. Okay. So you can mention all these people, that who all will be considered as responsible for this. Okay. Then the second part, as a general manager, my actions will be: survey other bridge. If any bridge is overburdened, highlight the problem to ministers and department. Make a rule and limit. Okay. This is also part you can do. Start a complaint box. Okay. So this part is fine. You can just divide it in. Part 1 and immediate action and long-term action. That is one suggestion which I will give you, that while you are writing some suggestion in ethics related question, if there is a chance, if there is such a scope, try to divide it in short-term measure and long-term measure. Okay. It will show that yes, you are having this comprehensive analysis of the topic. It is not just about giving the answer. It is also showing to the evaluator that you are able to do a comprehensive analysis. Act like a DM over there, or act like that bureaucrat over there. That we will not have a simple thing. You might have seen this, like when government is coming with some policy, or even if judgment is there, or any such policy document of government is there, you will find that they are giving each and everything in detail. They are covering each and every aspect from smaller terms to larger terms, broader perspective, long-term goal, short-term goal. So this is what you have to be prepared for, that you are not just giving the simply steps, you are dividing it, that in short term I will be doing this, and in long term what you will be doing. That is also something which you can do in ethics answer. Is that clear? Ayush, if you want, you can start answer writing, but I think first you can collect some stuff, collect some material. Means collecting material here means you have to study about the topics, then you can start writing the answer. Okay. Now, coming to the second part. This was the challenging one. Like the second case study which was there, it was the challenging one. What we see that this is a very much sensitive question, and at the same time it will check how much you are ready for the examination. So that is a very much sensitive question. How many of you have attempted this? The second one. The second case study, how many of you have attempted this? Yes, Charlie, I think your copy is there. Let me check if your copy is there or not. Shalini, I think your copy is not there today, but we have seen your copy in past. Okay. So I think today it's not there, but in the next session I will try to have your copy. Recently you have changed your medium Hindi to English. Okay, no problem. Neha, you can take some time. You can build your command over English, and then you can start it. Okay. Now see, the second question, it is saying that you are in charge of a communally sensitive district area. There was this incident where there was a person who was drunk. He has thrown something over the deity of another religion. Now there is clash in that area, and in that situation you have been asked what are the ethical issues involved in the above case. Okay. The first thing is you will write the introduction. Here you will have to write the stakeholder and the ethical issues. Okay. But see, how will you go this? How will you go in this part now? See, first thing is you will give the intro, the context, that the above case pertains to this issue of minority related clash or anything, whatever is the context, you have to mention it there. Second part, you will identify the stakeholder. So tell me everyone that who are the stakeholders in this case? I think all of you have read this question. So tell me this one part, who are the stakeholders in this case? Who are the stakeholders in this case? I am giving you one, for example, that you are the DM. So you are one of the stakeholders. You are one of the stakeholders. Who all are stakeholders in this case? Like, who are the other people who are stakeholders in this case? Okay. In ethics, I think yes, many of you are facing the problem. So that's why we are discussing it here also, that through discussion you can evolve that writing part. In case studies, yes, very few copies are coming, because I know that many of you are not doing this. Okay. See, this is the very important part. First thing is, in GS paper you need the content. In GS paper you need the content, and when you are not writing, It is clear that, okay, maybe you are missing the content, hence you are not writing. But in ethics case study, you don't have to get content. Content is already given there in the question. Content is already given in the question. You have to just write it here. Minority, majority, social media, DM office, local political leaders, antisocial elements. And if you forget about that one person, the drunk person, he was also there. Okay. Drunk man was also, alcohol seller also. So first identify that who will be the major stakeholders. Okay. Who will be the major stakeholders? You have to identify that. Okay. So there is one thing, drunk people who are there. Drunk person who was there. Then minority community. Then majority community. They are also part of it. Okay. They are also part of this stakeholder. Then local leaders. Local leaders. Then the antisocial elements. Antisocial elements. Okay. I think these are the main stakeholders. Okay. Minority community. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So these are the main stakeholders and plus social media. Okay, fine. Social media also you can take. One of the stakeholder is social media. So these are the main stakeholders which you can identify, that who are the all stakeholders under this consideration. Okay. So, okay, you have considered that drunk man as antisocial element. See, why I am saying the antisocial elements at other one? Because drunk man is one person who has started this all issue. So you have to give more weightage to him. Now there will be some antisocial elements. You see that whenever there is a clash between two communities, there will be some antisocial elements who will try to do some provocative things, or they will try to cause some disruption in the society. So this is one part which we have mentioned as antisocial. Okay. Then, so this is one part. First we have mentioned the context that the above case pertains to this clashes between minority and majority community of a particular area due to a misunderstanding and one act of a person who was drunk and has lost his consciousness. Okay, so that was the introduction part. The stakeholders, then you have identified the main stakeholders. Do not make it a very big list, because when you are making it a very big list, that relevance will be gone. So identify the main stakeholders. The main stakeholders. It should not be more than 6, 7. Okay. Then coming to the part, do not mention the ethical issues here. Why? Question is specifically asking what are the ethical issues involved in above case. Okay. So what are the ethical issues which are involved in above case? So this is one part which you have to now mention as part of the question here. Now we can mention it as part of question here, that you will write it A, ethical issues involved in case. Involve. So tell me, what are the ethical issues over here? When I am writing the answer in the middle of question, I forget the answer. Make that structure part, make the structure of your answer in the beginning itself. Write it somewhere in the rough page, then you will not forget it. Okay. No problem, Vinay, no problem. Tell me about this part. What are the ethical issues in this case? What are the ethical issues in this case? Tell me this part. See, it is not asking you to discuss the ethical issues. The question is asking what are the ethical issues under this case. Okay. No, that is not the ethical issues. Whom to support, minority or majority. When we talk about ethical issues, write in terms of ethics. Mention the keyword. Like Mayank, if you are saying that whom to support, minority or majority, Write one thing, impartiality and integrity. Write this part, impartiality. 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 Okay. Write the second value, impartiality towards both community. That will be your first part. That will be the first ethical values which are there. Okay. Then means you can write it in line wise also, that I have to maintain impartiality towards both communities, because you are a civil servant. You don't have any religion once you become a civil servant and you are on duty. When you are a civil servant and when you are on a duty, you are not belonging to any religion, any caste, anything. Now you are representing the state, and a state is secular, means the state has no religion. In India, the state has no religion. So when you are there as a civil servant, you have no religion. Okay. So first thing is you have to maintain the impartiality towards both like community and integrity. Impartiality and integrity. Okay. No, that is one part which I was trying to tell you. You do not have religious value there. You do not have any religious value over there. This is one thing which you have to avoid. This is one thing which you have to avoid. You are a civil servant. You all have read Article 13 of the Constitution, that what constitutes a state. When you are there as a civil servant, you are no longer a person. You are no longer a person. When you are on duty, you are the state, and a state has no religion. Okay. So yes, avoid that part. Okay. So this is one thing which you have to do. Okay. Then the second part is communal harmony. Harmony in the society. Peace and harmony. They are the values. Peace and harmony in society. Peace and harmony in society. That is the second value. Peace and harmony in the society. Okay. Truth and accountability. Yes, you can say that. Okay. Did not got this ethical issue meaning, or just issue. See, look at the question once again. Whenever you are having doubt, it is asking what are the ethical issues involved in above case. It is not saying discuss the ethical issues involved in above case. It is asking you what are the ethical issues. In second part, in such a situation as a district collector, what should be your response? Justify your stand. Okay. That what will be your response, and you have to justify also why I should be taking this. So save the word for the second part. Here just mention as many ethical issues as you can. Okay. So like here you can mention impartiality towards both community, peace and harmony in the society. Okay. Then you have to also mention, like you are there in the field, so you are a state. What is your value? Rule of law. You have one value, ensuring the rule of law. Ensuring the rule of law. Then ensuring the fundamental right. Ensuring the fundamental right of all citizens. Ensuring the fundamental rights of all citizens. All citizens. Okay. So that is also one part. Okay. Then at the same time, in all this situation, you also have this one part. Like in a stampede like situation, you also have to make sure that there is accountability of all the personnels. There will be someone who will be from majority, there will be someone who will be from minority. So accountability of all government officials. Accountability of all government officials. You have to ensure that also. Okay. You have to also maintaining maintaining the secular nature, maintaining the secular nature of administration, and then finally you will write this, that when you are there, now you will be having some dilemmas, okay. So that balancing the ethical dilemma, use the keyword balancing the ethical dilemma of religion versus duty, okay. That is one point which you can add in the last, balancing the ethical dilemma of religion versus duty. Okay. So, I have mentioned 6-7 different consideration, 6-7 different 6-7 different values. Yes, that one statement which is there, Sudha, that compassion towards minorities. Do not write compassion towards minorities. Write this instead, compassion towards all citizens. Compassion towards all citizens. Okay. So this is what you have to write. You have to have compassion towards all citizens. Okay. So this is one part which you can change. Whenever you are writing something, you have to write it in like how the officials will be writing. There is one statement which is made by politicians. There is another statement which is made by officials. You will find that there is a huge difference among them. That how the politicians say about any such issue and how the officials say about some issue. So what you are going to be? You are preparing for being the official. Okay. So you have to write in that manner. Okay. So this is one part that you can mention some of the values which are there. Personal gain over community trust. Okay. Personal gain. In what manner personal gain? Can you explain it a little bit? Like in what manner personal gain? Good evening. Okay, so this one part. Now, so this is first part of the question, the ethical issues. Now, second part. What should be your response? What should be your response? So now tell me, what should be your response? How you are going to proceed with this? I have just given you an idea about this, that in these questions, if it is asked, what should be your response? So, what will be your way of writing this? What should be your response? Tell me this part, how you will proceed with this now. Second part is simply asking, in this situation, what should be your response? Justify your answer. Remain impartial and take necessary action. Okay. To maintain peace and harmony in society. See, there will be different facets of your action. It cannot be one dimensional. This is what you have to learn in this ethics answer writing in the case studies, that you have to give a much more evolved answer. Okay. How you will do this? That second part is like first thing, that what should be your response? Okay. Then you will write this heading. In this situation, my response would be as follow. in this situation, my response would be as follow. First thing is, first you will write this, that my response will be as follow. First part, immediate action. Immediate actions. Now, this conflict is still going on. This conflict is still going on. So what will be your agenda first? First thing is A, deployment of personnels. That is your first part, deployment of personnels. Deployment of personnels for challenging or for like countering any such issues of conflict. Okay, for preventing any future conflict. Any future conflict. Okay. Now, in many of the states, take the hint from here. You all are very much aware people. You are all very much intelligent people. You see what is happening in the society. You know that whenever there is a clash between one majority and another minority community, sometimes you need additional forces. Sometimes you need additional forces from outside. Okay. So second part will be asking for additional force in case of requirement. In case of requirement. So you will have to make sure that nothing happens. You will ask for additional force. Yes, we need additional force to contain the situation. Okay. So that is one part. You will have all the security precaution that in no case there is harm to one single life. Okay. Then there will be third part which you can mention here, that if you have to ensure the calmness, you will also have to have active control on social media. Okay. So active control on social media, against any hatred. Okay. Against any hatred. If there is a requirement, there can be internet shutdown also. Okay. Then countering the narratives. Countering narratives by engaging influential leaders of both community. You might have seen this, that in many of the areas, if there have been any such communal clashes, many of the people have done this task, that they have called the main leaders of these areas and they have said that let's sit down and let's try to find out the solution for this. Let's have at least peace and harmony. No leader will openly say that we are going to have fight. Okay. They will urge the people to get calm, that we will solve the situation, we will try to find out the solution. So there will be some immediate action by you that you will do. Okay. Second part is investigation of the case. Investigation. That was it intentional? Okay. Investigation about the drunk person. Okay. Then also in the background, if there was any such agenda, if there was any such hidden agenda, okay, if any such hidden agenda, so this all will be investigated. This all will be investigated. That fair investigation will have to run. Okay. Then the third important part is, if there is a conflict, first you are able to control it. You are able to control it for some time. you have started investigation, and you have to ensure free and fair investigation. Free and fair investigation. Okay. So you have done that part. But then you will have to take some long-term measure also. You have to make some long-term measure also, which can become the potential source of conflict in upcoming times. Okay. So then the third part will be long-term measure. Long-term measure. There will be long-term measure. Okay. Long-term measure means identifying potential areas of conflict. Potential areas of conflict. There may be some areas which may again become a source of conflict. Okay. Then active consultation with all the stakeholders. Okay. Active consultation. Active consultation with stakeholders. And the final part of this, that how you are going to ensure that things become normal again. How you are going to ensure that how this thing can be done again. Promoting harmony in the society, promoting brotherhood in the society with cultural programs or with regular interaction with each other. Okay. So next part will be promoting harmony in the society. Promoting harmony in society through cultural programs. This will be a long-term measure, that even if there is a conflict between two societies, people are not opposed to each other fundamentally. There may be some areas of conflict. Okay. And then also see one more part. Okay. In this part here itself, also in this immediate action part also you have to take that local leaders. Okay. You have to manage the local leaders also. Managing and engaging with local leaders for harmony and peace. Harmony and peace. Okay. So in the immediate, you don't have to leave the local leaders. You can incorporate them also. And then in the long-term measure, we have suggested that what else can be done so that there is solution to this. But this is not the end of your answer. This is not the end of your answer. You have to justify your answer. The next part is why I would do so. The immediate actions are aimed at no one is getting hurt and the public order is maintained. Okay. The why you have to justify your. So immediate actions, I am taking some immediate actions as mentioned above to ensure the rule of law and public order in the society. Okay. To give justification also, this immediate action for law and order and public and peace and harmony. Investigation so that the real culprit can be identified and punished. And the long-term measures to ensure that to eliminate any future chances of conflict and ensuring long-term peace and harmony in society. Okay. long-term measures for resolving future conflicts, future potential conflicts, and ensuring harmony in society. Harmony in society. And then come to this part, that by doing so, I will be able to ensure that both majority and minorities are happy with the decision of administration, are satisfied with the decision of administration, and they can come together at the same platform to again ensure the brotherhood which is mentioned in our constitution. Play the constitution, means use the constitution over there. Okay. Play that, use that part, that we will maintain this, or we will do this. By doing this, we will ensure that both the majority and minorities are satisfied with the administration. There is no partiality towards anyone, and at the same time, the brotherhood as our constitutional ideal can be restored in the society. So that will be part of your conclusion. That will be part of your conclusion. Okay. So I hope now you can do this. Is this part clear, that how you will be able to answer this question? Is this clear how you will be answering this part? Now, in the next session, we are going to do one more very important thing. We are going to take one essay, and that essay is about this one. The essay is about this one. The most needed reform of Indian politics, one nation, one election. Write in 1000 to 1200 words. We already have done a YouTube session for this. You will find that we have already done a YouTube session on this on the same channel on KGS IAS. You will find that there is a video about this one nation, one election. In the past also, we have discussed this topic multiple times, but recently also we have got a proper explanation of this one nation, one election. But the topic is much more broader. The topic is much more broader. You see the sentence and think about the question. And remember one thing, yes, we will give you time. You cannot do it in one day. You cannot submit it by tomorrow. So we are giving you time, that we will have the next class on Friday. We will not have the session tomorrow. You will have time till 3 p.m. on Friday. You will have time till 3 p.m. on Friday to submit this essay. The most needed reform of Indian politics, one nation, one election, exclamation mark. Okay. In ethics, these signs, in essay, the signs also matter. The signs also matter. Okay. So this is one part. You have to write an essay on this. You have to write this essay on it. The most needed reform of Indian politics. On the YouTube channel, you will find that we have discussed this on KGS IAS YouTube channel. You will find the video for this one nation, one election. We have discussed this in Adhyan batch also. Okay. In Adhyan batch also, we have discussed this one nation, one election. In previous classes on YouTube also, we have discussed one nation, one election. In offline classes also in Karol Bagh, we have discussed one nation, one election. Okay. So almost in all the sessions, we have discussed about this one nation, one election in past also and recently also after this 129th Constitutional Amendment Bill. Okay. So do write about this. On Friday at 3 p.m., we will see the essay. Okay. And then we will practice some other essays also, but just go through this and we will talk about this topic on Friday. Okay. So thank you everyone, and very soon we are also coming with something for prelims. But what will be that? Stay tuned. Okay. So thank you everyone. Take care, and let's meet in on Friday. Like, utilize these 2 days time. You have tomorrow time also, Wednesday, then Thursday. On Friday at 3 p.m. By 3 p.m. you have to submit this. Okay. Thank you and take care. Good night.